Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, reach out to us, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions. Today, we look at a Rolex certified pre-owned Oyster Perpetual Cosmograph Daytona in white gold with Meteorite dial. This is reference 116519, and I have to say, for a certain kind of Daytona collector, this is the platonic form of Cosmograph. That guy's not interested in steel, white dials, black dials, ceramic bezels, or full bracelets. When he envisions a Daytona, this person envisions the Meteorite dial in a white gold case, gloriously resplendent on a natural hide strap, and that's exactly what we have right here. And I have to say, I'm really that kind of Daytona enthusiast. So this watch has a lot going on in that it is an unconventional version of a well-known watch. So taking a quick look at the size of it, we're going to open up the clasp here and note that in gray gold, more on that in a moment, 40 millimeters in diameter. The watch measures a svelte 12.2 millimeters, thickened from lug tip to lug tip, 47.4 millimeters. The spacing between the lugs is 20 millimeters, and of course we have this little end link insert, which is characteristic of these factory strap-clad Daytonas, to better mate the strap to the case without a gap between the two of them. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference. We're going to throw this watch on my wrist now, and you're going to get a look at that. And you can see it wears quite well. I would even argue, compared to the solid end link watches on the bracelet, this is a little bit better suited for a small wrist. So if you have a smaller wrist, taste for more compact watches, maybe you are a lady who wants the ultimate in Rolex power timepieces, and this is definitely that. This is going to work well. My wrist is small. It's 16 centimeters circumference. You can see the lugs are nowhere near the edge of my wrist. This is really more my style than the bracelet. And since I don't really like to swim, although it is 100 meters water resistant, the strap is not going to be much of an impediment to my usage case. Taking a quick look at that strap, of course you could put it on a water resistant strap and swim with it, but this strap right here is a lovely honey brown, large rectangular scale alligator leather strap. It does have some medium scales too towards the clasp. You can see a contrasting stitch. This one has a folded edge, and that contrasting stitch giving it nice pop. This watch is all about colors and textures, tones, and materials. On the underside, you can see that it is a Rolex factory strap, that it's calfskin lined on the bottom. Now we have the clasp here, an older form of Rolex Daytona clasp to be sure. You could see that it features a snapshot friction fit mechanism, and then the clamshell on top of that. We have both satin and polish, and then we have 5 pairs of divots inside the clasp where you can use your strap tool to move the spring bar that anchors the strap inside the clasp. You can move it in and out, and if that's not sufficient to find the right size, we can always get you a different Rolex factory strap for this Rolex certified pre-owned timepiece. And again, you do have those end links, which are a little bit different than what you'll find on the bracelet clad version, as they're recessed and designed to make sure there's no daylight between the case flank and the strap. The gray gold, as I mentioned earlier, is a type of white gold that is the good stuff. It's what Rolex, Grubel 4C, JLC, and many others use. It's a white gold 18 karat alloy that is white all the way through and never needs to be rhodium plated. You can see here that the tachymetric scale remains well defined on this timepiece, which is a mid-D series, so circa 2005. And of course, you can use the chronograph seconds hand with the tachymetric scale to gauge the speed of an object, such as a race car over a kilometer, which is the classic example. And of course, the Rolex Daytona is the official gift for each winning driver in each class-winning car at the annual Rolex 24 Hours at Daytona. It is the most sought trophy in motorsports. Of course, here we've got a Rolex triplock crown in gold. You know that because it has 3 dots, but the center one is larger. And all 3 crowns screw down 100-meter water resistance. People always ask, what does the back look like? Not much, to be honest, but you can see the assembly of the Rolex Oyster case back. And I always like having solid gold on the back of a gold watch because it just gives you more weight. It's like having a gold dollar coin on the back of your watch. Now, the Meteorite dials. This is Meteorite iron, and the patterns for which this is famous are actually a result of a process called the Widmanstätten process, and it's sometimes described as the Widmanstätten patterns. And what happens here is a certain amount of oxidation is allowed to take place on the raw cut meteorite iron, and then it's stabilized so that no more will occur. So you get these lovely patterns, and they're stable and they're enduring, but no two dials are ever exactly alike. So there's a lot of individuality. You can see that the hands, as well as the Rolex crown and the Roman numerals and the indices at the 3, 6, and 9 station. They're all white golds. They will not tarnish or oxidize. We have polished chapter rings for the individual registers. Inside, we have Rolex manufactured caliber 4130, which debuted back in 2000. So this is a in-house bidirectional winding automatic chronograph caliber with a 72-hour power reserve. This was also the first Rolex automatic to use a ball bearing for the winding rotor rather than a jeweled staff, which made it a little bit tougher. 4 hertz beat rate. It does have hacking seconds, 44 jewel movement. It has a COSC chronometer certification, 5 position adjustment, a full balance bridge, a free sprung balance, an overcoil hairspring profile. The first 2 features making it very shock resistant. The overcoil ensuring that it operates with isochronous regularity as a timekeeper in any physical orientation with respect to gravity. And although the hairspring was not oxidized blue at this point in production, I do believe it was nevertheless the niobium zirconium alloy that is highly anti-magnetic. Now, as a chronograph, it uses a vertical clutch and a column wheel. The vertical clutch making for seamless engagement, so there's no jump to the seconds hand when it starts, and then it's allowed to run full time. You can just have your central seconds, minutes, and hours and ignore the rest of the chronograph registers. If you like having running center seconds, you can leave a vertical clutch chronograph running. Now, in terms of the column wheel, it makes for a very crisp actuation feel, and this is one of the sharpest column wheel feels. I've always regarded the Rolex 4130 as one of the best chronograph column wheel tactile experiences, up there with the Breitling B01, the Zenith El Primero caliber 400, and at a much higher price point, the lug-to-lug. But this is a very solid and pleasing chronograph feel. There is a lot to love about this watch. It's also one of the least common variants of the Daytona, but in spite of its relative rarity, it has managed to attain an iconic status because it is so strong and distinctive as a design. You never forget it. Reach out to Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing details. Rolex certified pre-owned watches are backed and authenticated by Rolex. Should any reconditioning be necessary, it will be to a Rolex certified standard, and any parts invested Rolex factory original. Should the initial retail box, paper, and accessory set still accompany the watch, it will be included with the sale. But no matter what, a certified pre-owned box and paper set starts with an outer box, a leatherette travel pouch with suede lining, a warranty card that embodies the 2-year globally valid Rolex-backed warranty. Note, this is not a retail warranty, but backed by Rolex and actionable at any of its authorized points of sales and service. A leatherette wallet includes the warranty terms and conditions manual. A holographic hang tag marks this as a certified pre-owned Rolex watch, and a manual details Rolex's values as a company. The certified pre-owned program: care, feeding, service, and use of your Rolex, locations of points of sales and service, and details of Rolex.com. Rolex certified pre-owned watches are backed only by Rolex.